setting up groundwork to make other stuff for the rest of the semester go better. So today might not seem super productive, but it'll help us out. You're on like PC, I'm on Mac. Do you have like a little exclamation point or three dots or something like that?
It says other user, and I already restarted it twice.
That means we're going to grab another one. Like, so you completely shut down?
Yeah.
Okay. That means we're just going to grab another one. We'll just leave it there. Okay. All right. So if you have like the three dots or the little exclamation point, click on that over on the far. That's the right hand side, and then go to Settings. So we're in Chrome. We're just going to Settings. Exclamation point. In Chrome, going to Settings. What you want to do then is up at the top, you should be able to sign into Chrome. Sign into Chrome using your school Gmail address. What this will do, because we don't normally use these computers, what this will do is anytime you sign into Chrome, the bookmarks that we create, the settings, and all that kind of stuff should go with you. You can't, now this isn't the same as signing into Google, like Google homepage. You have to make sure you do sign into Chrome. But when we get our other computers and you sign into Chrome, all your profiles should go with you. If you do this at home, all of your profiles should go with you. So just make sure you sign in. Make sure you please use your new student Gmail address. Wells J 18. Ooh, that's scary. 18. Bryn B 19. Oh yeah. We're going to change your name. Now you're Bass Bryn. But you would want to make sure you sign into Chrome, put in your password. See if I remember mine. Apparently not. Too much pressure. People staring at me. And other thing then that you want to do after you sign in, go back to Settings. Oops. Okay, I got it. Actually, excuse me, not Settings. Hit the little exclamation point thing again. And then if you scroll down, there's one that says Bookmarks. You want to, under Bookmarks, don't bookmark this page, but show Bookmarks bar. And I got it up here on the screen so you can see where we're at. Exclamation point, Bookmarks, show bookmark bar. All that's going to happen then is you'll get a little extension right there. So then you're able to log on at least to that one. Is this your typical computer luck? Pretty much. Okay. Callie, okay. Evelyn, you good? Elena, you're good? Bowen? Yep. How you doing there?
I'm signing in right now.
Okay, good job. And then you're going to go to show bookmark bar. Maddie did it. If Maddie can do it, I have big plans for you. All right, what I want you to then do is within the web search, just type cite this, but go CYTETHIS. Cite this. I know. Should work. Usually it works. Hold on, it didn't work. I'll try art. I know that's how you spell. But generally that's how it used to work. Try the archive, see if this one works. All right, we'll do that one. Go to archive this because this is different. The first link then that you see for Noodle Tools, and you have not signed in yet, should bring up this page. We good? What you do, now this is tricky for those of you with like finger-eye coordination problems. I don't know who you are. Click on the Archive This button with your little trackpad. While still holding the trackpad down, bring Archive This up to where you see that little green plus sign in your bookmark bar, and then let go, and it should say archive this.
There's a box with the
Maybe
black plus.
so you get a black plus.
Yeah.
I get a green plus. So you're clicking on archive this and you're dragging it up. Some of you will take 4 times until it shows up in your bookmark bar.
Scroll up.
You did it? Later on, starting maybe not tomorrow, but on Monday, you will thank me profusely when we come back to this button. I have just made your life much, much easier. You're welcome. Even if I forget to email Helena, she will still thank me. You're good? Okay. Savannah, are you able to get on this? Okay. All right, here's what I want to do then. I would like you to go to Google Classroom. Classroom.google.com is the web address that'll take you there. You might have to sign into Google again, or it might, since you signed into Chrome, automatically have you there. I don't know. And then we're going into CHS argumentation period 2, which all of you have already signed into at some point, except for Ray. I was going to yell at Ray, but Ray's not here.
I mean, that's not surprising.
I was going to ask, who do you think would be like the last person to sign in?
No, it was not me.
I thought more people would go Bowen, but
Yeah.
I appreciate that you have signed into here. Starting pretty much now, we're going to be using Google Classroom a little bit more frequently, just with like some assignment stuff that we're going to do. The very first thing here up at the top, it says Pop Culture Resolutions. If you don't click on, well, it doesn't matter which one, not like the main, and mine might look a little bit different from yours since I'm the teacher, but click on where it says Pop Culture Spar Resolutions, like next to the little preview button, and it should open up then the Google form, a Google Doc, where here are all the topics and the numbers are still there, so you can look at your little slip of paper if you want. I want you to pick up to 4 that you think would be good topics that you would be interested in pursuing. And then hit submit at the bottom once you're done. And now we get to watch the live poll.
What is the least?
So far, number 2, number 8, and number 10.
No, I'm not gonna do that. This just died.
What happened?
It died. Sorry.
That's personification.
Personification of what?
The computer can't really die.
Computers can really die. I'm gonna call the police, Bowen.
Jack, if you be alive,
They won't have a body camera.
Jack, you must be alive or die.
If anything happens,
I was never alive.
Good.
Now, we are not going to figure out necessarily all the topics today because and I'm not surprised with weather and whatnot, we're kind of missing a significant portion of the class. And Savannah, you probably still need to get there. Did you vote yet? Oh yeah, you did. Good job. Do we have 11 people today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got 13. Oh, we're up to 12 now?
They're supposed to be.
There's Bryn. There's Dylan. There's 12 of us. Oh, yours died, right? So you're not on here yet.
No, I'm not.
Oh, we're all waiting on Jack.
I'm on the way.
So what we'll do, like at this point, it seems like number 5 would be one that's pretty interesting. The folks might be interested in. All police officers should wear video cameras. And then we have some votes for like life existing on other planets. Start time being 8:30. Colleges and universities have the right to evaluate applicants through social media in addition to other ways. And then for safety reasons, contact football should not be allowed before high school. The hope would be that ultimately we'll select 4 to go with, and that we would be arguing both affirmative and negative. So we'll let Jack get some responses, but we'll see tomorrow too, if we start getting some folks back and maybe have them do a little bit of a vote as well. But within Google Classroom then, and Jack, you can certainly still go there, do your votes and all that kind of stuff. Within Google Classroom, then, the things that we want to take a look at are go to number 4 over here on the side where it says Common Websites. This will end up being a hub for a lot of you when it comes to research that we're going to be doing throughout the course of the semester. This isn't the sole place that you can do research or have to do research. There are links to different places. Notice the first website link that you do have is for the PIT registration through the Aspire website for PIT if you're signing up for the CHS credit. Next Friday, the 16th, is when we're hoping to get those checks and forms coming in, so that would be something you may want to look at. But as you scroll down, you see that there's a link to Noodle Tools. I have linked to the library, and then also a couple other websites: International Debate Education Association, procon.org, and then New York Times Room for Debate. These are places that will be some good sources for you to use. Now, you certainly are allowed to go to Google and start typing in some other things. But one of the issues, you always kind of run into source credibility and things of that nature. These are certainly good places to kind of start that'll give you a lot of source information. I mentioned to you that we're going to use Noodle Tools. So we're going to do that right now. Go to Noodle Tools. There's the link. The login is going to be a little bit of an issue for us, but we'll figure it out. Are you in Noodle Tools now?
No, but
okay. Following along.
Yeah.
You're going to go to the login, and this is going to require us to use memory. Your ID to log into Noodle Tools would be what you used for your computer logins last year. So I always screw this up. Was it like first 3 of your last name?
First name, first 3.
4, then first 3,
Yeah.
and then your graduation year, I think, right?
Yes.
So you want to use your ID from last year. So we're saying first 4 of last, then 3 of first, and then your graduation. So Dylan was lucky because it was his full last name. You were like Car Dill, or oh, was it first name then last? Well, try it out. Let's see what happens. Your password is NHSD NHSD. Now, what's probably going to happen for a good number of you, if not all of you, is it's going to ask for you to revalidate your page. Did you get a revalidation? No? Okay.
I just used it last semester.
You're getting one, Bryn?
I did that last
All that it means is if you have not used NoodleBib in a while, it just wants to make sure you are who you are claimed that you are. So, Bryn, you are getting it? Okay. What you would do then for revalidation is both username and password, NHLIB. So you're going to put NHLIB as in North Hills Library twice. NHLIB, NHLIB. It's then going to ask you a series of, and your password is NHSD, NHSD, just a general log on, unless you've changed it. Most people haven't. It's going to ask you then for graduation year and all that kind of stuff. If you foresee yourself wanting to use NoodleBib in a collegiate career and you want to graduate in 2030, then you can graduate in 2030. If you don't see yourself, then you can put in your actual.
No, I didn't. I changed it like 2028.
No, but I'm saying like we technically couldn't graduate in 2030 because don't we have an age limit?
No, we're.
That was like 20.
There's some limit yes, technically. For high school, you mean?
Yeah.
21, but they'll
pay for it.
NoodleBib will still exist.
So what would
Mrs. Miller has said it's okay. So So it would be page. You go NIC, so it'd be NIC 19 or 18, and then your password would be NHSD, lowercase.
And then is the password?
And then the revalidation is that NHLIB. We successfully getting into NoodleBib? Dylan, you're in. Bryn, you're good. Callie, you're good. Evelyn, you're good. Helena, you're good. Bowen's made it. You're good. You're working on it. Savannah, you okay? All right. Nick, that worked. You're good. You're good. Okay. All right. Ooh, Jack just got it. What I want you to do then is once you get into Noodle Tools, you see all your different projects and stuff like that. I want you to go to projects, and actually you can just stay where you're at. I want you to create a new project. So that green button over here in the upper left, create a new project. Probably just want to call it CHS argumentation. I'm going to have to call mine something else since I already have them in there. CHS arg, CHS argumentation period 2. I'm putting CHS argumentation spring 2018. Doesn't really matter. So far as citation style, we're going MLA, and then citation level, we are going advanced. Not starter, Bowen. We're in college.
Just if it snowed, they sent us home. Because it wasn't supposed to snow today.
We're fine.
We are snow.
I heard a rumor that they were going to do a dismissal at 2 o'clock. I don't know if that's true.
Man.
You mean 150?
Yeah, like 150. Like
He's like,
There was one year that we did a TWA in class, and I took NA's website, and then I doctored it so it said early dismissal, like right as the students were doing the TWA. They didn't like that.
That's so funny.
that's hilarious.
I thought it was great. Maybe I'll do that 9th period today while you're doing your TWA.
Wow, no.
What if it's
Would you? Would you really know? All right, after you have created your project, I need you to, in this middle area, so you have project details, down below you see sharing and collaboration. You're going to share with a project inbox. This isn't going to work for me because I own the inbox, but where it says project inbox, if you type in CHS, I think you'll have 3 options pop up.
Yes.
What?
You want to go with period 2, spring 2018. And then you would type in your name. So if you type in CHS, you should get a period 2, period 6. Then there should be a period 2 that says spring 2018. You want to then type in your name and hit done. You can hit shared link Google Doc. You don't have a shared link Google Doc with me, so it really makes no difference whatsoever. What this does then is when I go to my projects and my inbox, I can now take a look at what you have in your NoodleBib list. So right now, you know, Callie has 0 sources, which is just what everyone else would have. Perfectly fine. But as you are adding sources, I'll be able to see them. So by the end of the semester, Callie and everyone else has to have 50 sources. So as you add sources, it'll show me the sources, and then I can click on them and take a look at them to make sure you're okay. Your last semester grade is going to be your source project, essentially. What this keeps you from having to do is print them out, you know, make a big formal list for me or anything like that. But Pitt does require that you have a collection of at least 50 sources that you have researched throughout the course of the semester. So as you come across sources, you just want to add them into this project. All right. It doesn't mean that they are 50 sources that you use in all of your speeches, but it essentially is 50 sources that you consult. So Jack could have 50 sources, and I'm just making up numbers, maybe 30 of them you actually use in arguments that we do. Other 20 you still looked at, they're part of your research even though you did not physically use them within a speech. We are going to have 4 resolutions that you're going to be arguing affirmative and negative. And all next week we're basically going to be prepping for that assignment. How many sources do you think would be reasonable for you to find for each argument affirmative, each argument a negative? Pick a number.
6, 3.
6 sounds like a lot.
No, it's 4.
But 3, you could even say 2, just for whatever. Let's say, we'll go with 3, the higher number. Nick finds 3 sources for, say we do body cameras, affirmative, finds 3 sources for body cameras, negative. 3 sources for life exists on other planets, affirmative. 3 for life exists on other planets, negative, so on and so forth. So ultimately, he ends up finding 3 sources for how many arguments? Not 4, but 8. 3 times 8 equals 24. Essentially, half of his source requirement is taken care of with this one assignment. I don't think Nick, and no offense to Nick, or anyone else is really going to find 3 sources for each one. Maybe someone will. It's probably going to be more in that 2 range, which even if you go with 2, that's 16, which for 50 is more than 50%. 16 times 3 is 48, right? So you're basically still at a third at that point. So this becomes a collection of where your sources are going to be throughout the course of the year. The problem, honestly, is most likely that Nick is looking up resources, finds something, puts bookmarks it for himself, but doesn't add it into NoodleBib. And so what he starts to do towards the end of the year is scramble, and then you have to go through and find all your sources and enter the information. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is just kind of keep up with it throughout. At the end of the pop culture spar debate topics that we do, there's not a homework assignment where I come in and see how many sources does Evelyn have, how many does Elena have, how many does Callie have. It's just I look at them every now and then. But the only time that it gets scored is when you have your 50 sources at the end. So as long as Helena and I'm just picking a random date, May 15th, May 16th, we don't have school on the 15th, May 16th has all 50 sources in, then she would be good to go. But I think it would make life much easier for you if you just do, a few at a time as you keep up with it. All right. So now don't do this, but I'm just going to show you something with how the archive this works. I'm just going to do what I always tell you not to do. Go to Google. Does life exist on other planets? Let's say this is a topic. Number 1. Anyone have an issue with me going to Google and typing in the question, does life exist on other planets?
That source is not reliable.
There's a chance that the source is not going to be reliable. Now, the second one that I have here where it says NASA and government, all right, that's one that I probably take a look at. The problem that I would have with it is if you type in the question into Google, you're essentially allowing Google to formulate your argument for you. I would try to brainstorm your own ideas with it. Now, some sources or some topics you're going to be more familiar with than others. But if you can come up with your own subtopics to an issue, that's going to make a Google search that you do much more direct and whatnot. But I'm going to take this one here with NASA, search for life in the universe. Since I have a nasa.gov website, I can be pretty certain that this is reliable. Now, there is something that could be a little bit of an issue. Anyone see immediately at the very top? That's 15 years ago, 14 and a half years ago. So some of the information, some of the things that haven't read the article yet, some of the things in here could be a little out of date. It used to be, we would say if it was 2000 and on, that's fairly recent, but that's getting harder and harder to say in 2018. So, time, publication dates would be something that you would want to keep an eye on. However, since this is a sample, this is a source that I'm going to use. I go to my Archive This button that's in my bookmark bar. I click on Archive This. What should happen? Ooh, it's not going to happen because this is a secure website. That is an OSNAP. Got to go back to Google. We'll go to this one. Probably not very reliable. Don't do this at home. All right, up here at the web address where it just says astronomy.com, The NASA website had HTTPS, S means secure, and there was a little padlock icon there. If you have that padlock icon, archive this is not going to work. However, if you don't, you go to archive this, you then get a little menu that's here going to pop up. It's loading. You do have to have signed into Noodle Tools. What it will now do is it has the title of my article. I can click my project. I want to go to CHS Argumentation, Spring 2018, and I'm going to save it. Now it says saving. When I go to my projects, and if I already had it open, you do have to refresh the page. But when I take a look at my sources now, there is my website that I just looked at. So it has loaded it into Noodle Tools for me. Now, I'm not done because it's not really a complete citation. I still need to go into the options. I do need to do some things with edit. I will have to reformat the title. I will have to go back and look to see, do I have an author, publication date, stuff like that. But it does at least, and notice it's telling me where I should be adding information, but it does start the website, the citation thing for me. If anything, it's also a nice bookmark because it literally archives the page where you don't even have to be connected to, if the internet were to go down, although you'd have to be online here to get it, it basically loads up the page for you without having to re-find it, which is going to make life a little bit easier. Down at the bottom, you see it has save and add annotation. For every source, well, I got to put in my website name. For every source that I use, I do have to put in an annotation. And I'm asking you to do 2 sentences. And you can number them 1 and 2. First one would be, what's the assignment that this is for? So I could go, this is for my pop culture spar debate. 1 sentence. Number 2, what is the main idea, the main information that you got from the site? Or from the source. Just give me a general overview. You don't have to write a note card. You don't have to give me formal statistics or anything, but just let me know generally what you were pulling from the source. If you have all 50 sources without annotations, you get a half point for each one. It would be a 25 out of 50. If you have all your sources and all your annotations, you get a half point for each. Then you would have a full point therefore, and you'd get a 50 out of 50. If you have 50 sources, you have 40 annotations, 10 have not been annotated, half point off for those 10. So that'd be -5. That'd be a 45 out of 50. So it's not only having the sources, but it's also making sure that you let me know, 1, what's the assignment that you're using this for. Right now, all of you could just go pop culture spar debate. You don't have to put the formal resolutions, and then give me a sentence. Just let me know the main idea that's coming from it. All right, and that's pretty much how NoodleBib is going to work. But when you go onto any computer, you sign into Chrome, where the little exclamation point thing is. Archive this should automatically show up on your bookmark bar. You might have to go back into those other ones and go to bookmarks and then show that bookmark bar, but otherwise it should be there for folks to see. Tomorrow what we're going to do, since we're not going to have enough time with it right now, we're going to come back with the common websites. I want to show you specifically some stuff that's in the library that I think would be worthwhile for you. Also, I want to show you these sources, the ProCon and the International Debate Association. Obviously, what website do people always ask? Am I allowed to use this for my research? Wikipedia. You cannot use Wikipedia as a source. For the simple fact, it has nothing to do with reliability of Wikipedia, and it's not me on a crusade against Wikipedia. Pitt does not want you using secondary sources. Pitt wants you using sources where you're literally getting the information kind of firsthand. So even procon.org and this idebate.com that I'm going to show to you, those would also count as secondary sources that you can't cite. But what does Wikipedia provide for you at the bottom of the article? The reference, the citations. So you can certainly use Wikipedia as a gateway to more reliable sources. So if we were to do something like alien life, and then there were reference links down below, those would be things that you could absolutely use. All right. So tomorrow, laptops, We'll grab them again. We'll try to get the same number that you have today. We're just going to come back to Google Classroom, and I'll start showing you, things with the websites. The first thing, though, that we are going to do tomorrow, before you open up your laptops, or at least before we go to Google Classroom, remember you have a logical fallacy quiz. So look over your logical fallacies. Since we are on Google Classroom, if it's something that you wanted, where there's Quizlet links under the weekly syllabus, I do have the logical fallacy flashcards. So if you wanted to load them up at some point tonight, on phone, computer, whatever, you could do flashcards with all the logical fallacies, all 16 terms that would be on there. The Hitler rim I don't have on there. That's how we got the 16. All right. Please log off from the computer rather than simply closing the lid so that other folks don't have the issues. And then you can just stack the computers on the cart up here in the front of the room.